Welcome back. It's me, the Cav Ambassador, and today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the very well decorated but mentally ill artist Yayoi Kusama. Trigger warning, we are going to be covering some sensitive topics regarding mental health, mental illness, so if that does trigger you, it's best to click off the video. But other than that, grab your coffee to your water. I've got this silly excuse of a coffee which I cannot function without, and let's get into the video. As always, here is the outfit of the day. I'm wearing a Cav hoodie, Tommy Hilfiger pants, and Converse 1 stars. I try to fit in with the theme of Yayoi, which is quite out there and expressive, but I travel a lot. This is my travel wardrobe, and so I do not have many bright colors. Yayoi, born in Japan, is a Japanese fashion designer who has become very well renowned with many collaborations and a lot of success to her name. But life for her was hard. Beginning her journey, she was born in Matsumoto, Japan, and anyone who knows Asian culture knows that stability is the best approach forward for most families. Along with that, they're a lot more conservative, especially Japanese, and they do not take mental health that seriously. It's not a very investigated or cared about topic in general in Asia. From early childhood, Yayoi would start to see these reoccurring patterns and polka dots all over the place, but she could never find out why. She continued her life going forward regardless of these issues and started to take an interest into the artistic field. Now, shortly after high school, she would decide fully, okay, I want to be an artist. Her mom and dad were not pleased with this. As I mentioned just before, this isn't a stable career. This is definitely not the most conservative industry, and at the time there wasn't a lot of opportunities for female artists or artists in general. This would mean that Yayoi would suffer at the hands of physical and mental abuse from her mum, and as you can imagine, with a mental illness that's not even diagnosed at this point, it absolutely exacerbates those effects. Her mental illness would continue to decline, and only later was she diagnosed with OCD. Now, most of the time when I've heard OCD in my life, it's been kids that have unmatched highlighters or unmatched pens and say, oh, it's my OCD. But OCD can be such a brutal diagnosis for so many people in the world, and for her it was absolutely vicious. She would have these hallucinations of recurring patterns, polka dots all the time. She had body dysmorphia and she felt like her body was a network of dots, and she was obsessively cleaning her environments all around her. That third one, obsessive cleaning, that's very common with a lot of people with bad OCD, but as you can imagine, this derails your life. With this rejection and turmoil, Yayoi Kusama decided that she needed to leave Japan and headed over to the United States so she could further progress her career as an artist. At this time, she was very drawn to the avant-garde style and the abstract expressionist movement in New York, and so New York became her new home. She was now free from the locks of traditionalism and had the freedom to express herself in a new environment that was a lot more accepting of her and her traits. It was at this time when she started incorporating her polka dots and recurring patterns that she would see all the time into her actual work. And now we know this has become a staple of her work. As she grew as an artist and a fashion designer, she decided to start making clothing and fashion accessories, designing her clothes with these polka dots and these pattern prints all over them. She also did a lot of costume design for various artists and a lot of different events. Now, it was at this time where it seemed like she was really taking on the world that Yayoi faced another decision. Around the 1970s, the late 1970s, Yayoi checked herself into a mental institution, and to this day, she has not left this institution. It's still her home. You may notice the change of clothes and the change of lens, and that's because as I was doing more research on her life, I missed an important detail, and I think I'd be doing her life a disservice if I did not include it in this video. In 1974, Yayoi's father passed away. The passing of her father brought to surface a lot of childhood trauma, and coupled with the rejection in Japan, father passing away, the childhood issues she faced, and her mental health, Yayoi decided that her best way forward was trying to take her own life. Thankfully, she didn't succeed, and she's still here with us, but I felt I had to include that in. This could both be a good or bad thing. On the positive side, she's had such a prosperous career, and she finally was able to address her mental health. But on the sad side, it seemed like her back was against the wall, and the only way for her to find some peace was to enter this facility. And just imagine, had she had treatment or help at a younger age, how further her career could have progressed. I don't know, nor have I heard of any other successful person who has had such a turbulent life, still lives in a mental institute, and has still found such great success. As we know, in recent, Yayoi Kusama has become one of the most recognized contemporary artists all over the world. She's had massive solo exhibitions, many collaborations with brands, and fashion designers have even revisited her works like Comme des Garçons. What really intrigues me about Kusama isn't particularly her art, but it's the pain behind the art. She's literally built a career on being herself and not allowing her disadvantage to dictate her future. Her recent collaboration with Louis Vuitton is so Kusama. You can obviously see the blueprint in it. And before diving deeper, I just wanted to say that I used to think her art was boring and repetitive. I really couldn't understand the significance of this. I'm not gonna lie and say that I find it hyper innovative, but I find the meaning behind it extremely profound. In this capsule we have 4 different styles. We have the polka dot, the psychedelic, the metallic dots, and the infinity dots. And all of these prints are influenced by her life and her art as she's developed it, but to me the one that stood out the most was the psychedelic print. I'm not a big fan of monogram or loud logomania, but this print on the bag was absolutely gorgeous, and if there was one item I would get for myself or my partner, it would be the monogram bag. Let me know if you're going to be getting anything from the capsule drop that she just did. As you can see, she's taken over the entire world. She's also said in this most recent collaboration with Louis Vuitton that she wants to turn the world into a Kusama world like no one's ever seen before. And this, without diving too deep into it, sounds like she wants the world to experience what life through her eyes is like. And I feel like that's been her mission for a very long time in the art world. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you guys enjoy these fashion videos, I have some more over here. Please go ahead and watch my Y2K video. I still think it's the best video I've made to date. Absolutely love it. And as always, have a good day. Let me know what you're going to be buying from this collection. If you are, why you like her, why you don't. And I'll see you in the next one.